Hey, everybody in Switzerland. I want to wish Marcus and the James Bond Club from Switzerland the very best of the 25th anniversary. I know it's this year, and congratulations, you guys. Bond is, as we all know, we love Bond, and it's... excuse me? What, Marcus? Yeah, but it's... Oh, the mask. Well, because of the COVID-19, I thought maybe... Oh, no, you can't hear me well enough? Oh, you want to, all right, well then keep a distance. Just go back 6 feet, keep a distance, and I'll take I'll take the mask off. There you go. Oh, that's much better now. So let me say this again. Hi, everyone from Switzerland. I know it's the 25th anniversary of your James Bond Club that Marcus is the president of, and I'm honored to greet you and to wish you the very best and for all your support for Bond over the years. I've got to say that one of the highlights of my career was playing a Bond villain in License to Kill, Franz Sanchez. And there are many, many lovely moments I have during the filming and prior to the filming, and getting the part, meeting Cubby Broccoli, a legendary person who I loved. Cubby, who was an Astoria, Queens boy like I was. We were born in Astoria, Queens, and both grew up on Long Island. We found that later on when Tina Banta, his daughter, introduced us for the first time. That's when I first met Cubby. Tina was a big fan of a film I did called Goonies. And she said, my dad would love you. You're from Astoria, you're this, you're that, the other thing. And I met her mom and dad, Cubby and Dana. We had a lovely dinner at the Bistro in Beverly Hills at the time. This is in the late 80s. And probably around 86, 87, right after Goonies and stuff. And Cubby and I hit it off famously. And he wished that he wanted to hang out some more. And I remember Tina telling me he really liked me, and I loved him, and his mom. And what had happened was I did a movie called Terrorist on Trial, the United States of America versus Salim Ajami, that was produced by a man named George Englund. Now, George Englund produced a lot of films for Brando. The Ugly American, he produced and directed it. He was a very forward-thinking guy. In this film, 1988, Terrorist on Trial, no one was talking about the subject, and it was a courtroom drama, very well received, and I was very good in it. And Richard Maybaum had called up Cubby Broccoli when it came out and said to Cubby, say, put on Channel 2 right away. And Cubby says, I've got it on. He goes, that's the next Bond villain, that guy there. And Cubby said, I think so too. And they called me up the next day. It was that performance. And I met with Cubby and Michael Wilson and John Glenn and then Timothy. And they told me at that meeting, we want you to be the next Bond villain. I didn't have to audition for it. There was no running through hoops. And that was just their choice from the beginning there. And they were writing the film. There was a writer's strike, so Richard Maybaum had done what he'd done. And then Michael Wilson took over, and Michael was just so graceful and wonderful and artistic, really had a fondness. I got to work very closely with Michael at that time, and he was giving me books like The Underground Empire, and he was making me more aware of, because I was very heavy into research, and they saw what I did with the where I played a Palestinian in License to Kill, where you felt I was this character. I researched it very deeply. I'm Italian Catholic. I knew nothing about that world. And I knew nothing about now this world of the narcotraficante. And I studied the underground empire and realized the insidiousness of this. And Pablo Escobar and Ochoa and Carlos Leder, and really got involved with how that world worked and what it was about and the mindset. And worked with Michael over time period, talking about the character of Franz Sanchez. Now, I don't know if it's a coincidence. Some people say it is. But I remember that they were, of course, other people were looking for different characters in the film to play. All the big, you got to realize, when it's a Bond film, every major star wants to be a Bond villain or Bond. So people were, and big agencies were going after it. And Cubby told me, he says, you're going to hear a lot of noise on the street. Don't worry about it. And I guess that was publicity and stuff. But he said, don't worry about it. You're going to be the Bond villain. Anyway, the head of the studio was also getting pressure at the time. And they had other people for the film that they were pushing. And Cubby Broccoli was talking to Sinatra. And they had said, Sinatra says, go with the Italian kid. What, are you kidding me? And I don't know if that inevitably had anything to do with it, but I got to play Franz Sanchez. And my relationship with John Glenn was absolutely terrific now. And with Timothy. Timothy and I went back to Casino Royale and wanted to do the grittier Bond, as this is what the direction it was going into. I called Timothy the father of Daniel Craig, because really License to Kill was the first bringing Bond into this modern era. It was initially not accepted as it should have been. It was a good picture. And I was disappointed at the response, and still am sometimes, that I think it really gets underrated quite a bit. But as the years go by, it's getting rated more and more. And Sanchez, I have to say, is people are finding their way to Sanchez as well as Timothy's Bond. Now, John Glenn had a great wit and just a great director, really a terrific person, and made me feel so comfortable on the set, and he's able to instill confidence, and he has a terrific eye. He even saw the talent in the young Benicio del Toro, who was offbeat some of his readings, and John absolutely loved what Benicio was doing to the character, for the character of Dario. And Benicio and I wanted to create a relationship between Dario and Sanchez that you didn't know if they were brothers, if they were cousins, if they were relatives, if they were lovers, who knows what they were. But I wanted that ambiguity in that character, in that relationship. That's why, if you see, I'm very physical with Dario sometimes and very affectionate toward him. And as Latinos are to each other, as Italians are, there's a familia. So I felt that there was some relationship there with Dario. Now, when they were casting for my Lupe, John and Michael and Cubby wanted me to pick my girlfriend in the film, meaning Lupe. And there were 16, 17 actresses from around the world and models. And they didn't want me to feel put on the spot. So they said, you're not going to do Sanchez, you're going to audition as Bond, which I did. I actually auditioned as James Bond. Bond, shaken, not stirred. And I played I think, a very adept, kind of interesting Bond I played, if I may say so myself. And I think on one of the videos, and if you can ask John Glenn, after all the tests, and they were teasing me, they said, you know, Cubby, Robert would make a terrific Bond. And Cubby said, I think so too. And of course I was much thinner and younger, but I always coveted that role because of Sean Connery and then what everyone else had done. But needless to say, I'm picking the Lupe. And the Lupe that I'm picking, I felt not necessarily who Robert Davi would be attracted to, but who Sanchez would risk his life for. And that was Talisa Soto. She came in, and she was the one that I said Sanchez would risk his life for Talisa Soto. And they all agreed. So Talisa did a terrific job. We were like a family for 5 months. We were supposed to stay at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Mexico City. And you got to realize I'm playing Sanchez. And I'm a bit of my background is with Stella Adler and Strasberg and in the Actors Studio and Sandy Meisner and Michael Chekhov and many, many great teachers, Milton Katselis, and continued on. I was a huge student, but Stella Adler mainly, the great acting coach. And so I was into the character. And I didn't feel that Sanchez would stay at a place like the Crown Plaza Hotel. So I went looking. And they gave you a per diem in those days for your own hotel if you wanted to do something else. And I went looking, and I found this new hotel in Polanco called the Hotel Nico. And I went there, and I made a deal for a gorgeous suite with a piano. And the Sanchez would live here. Now I was comfortable. going into the Crown Plaza, I wouldn't have been comfortable as Sanchez. But now I was comfortable, and that led to a major deal being made for all of the cast and crew to come to the Hotel Nico in Polanco. Needless to say, some nights there were gunshots, even outside in Polanco, and there were murders from the narcotraficante. And we talked a lot about this character, and I think the loyalty is more important to me than money, was one of the driving forces in the Sanchez character, because then Bond was able to find the Achilles heel, and in destroying that loyalty, what would happen to Sanchez's personality. And that was the chipping away. But anyway, that's just a little background. I hope you enjoyed it. That's my dog, Ted. He's a Bichon Frise who's got a loud mouth and barks when he shouldn't. But we had a wonderful time and many practical jokes. Some of you may know this already, being Bond fans. But remember my Iguanito. Well, he didn't like Talisa Soto. She knew she was betraying me. So the iguana didn't like her when she came to it. But the iguana would come and talk to me, and I wish we had the outtakes of me really having a conversation with the iguana, because I said some things that were very funny. And in one particular scene, we're doing the scene, and I know I'm doing a good job. And I hear off camera, look at that, it's amazing, the subtlety in his eyes. He's absolutely fantastic. What an actor. I mean, could you believe this? It's so natural. Alex, I want you to come in closer on that. Put a key light right there, right in the eyes. He's fantastic what he's doing. And I'm like really inside just, wow, look at, I'm the shit. Am I not the shit? Look at this Sanchez Bond film, the most successful, and the galley of Bond villains, and I'm going to go down in history. And John Glenn, the great director, is giving me these wonderful accolades in the behind the camera to the crew. And then when they cut, John walks over to me, and I think he's going to say something to me. And as he approaches me, he goes down. You are so marvelous. You're so fantastic. Look at you. Look at you. You're so fantastic. Your agent should get you more money. You're doing terrific in this film. And he was talking to the iguana. That's John Glenn's sense of humor, and it was off to the races from there on. And we had a wonderful time. I was the bad boy on the set, of course. And when we went to discotheques, I lived as Sanchez for those 5 months with Benicio and Talisa, and we had a blast. And pulled many practical jokes. Some worked well, one time Barbara got very angry at me. And I tell this story to Anthony Stark, who's a great kid. He played Truman Lodge, who was pissing me off anyway because he was worried about finances, remember? Time to start cutting overhead. That came out organically but there was a practical joke we were doing one time. We were in Mexico somewhere, Mexicali, I forget, in the motorhome. And me and Benicio were sitting there talking. And what they did, if they didn't have supplies sometimes, they would use cork, burnt cork, to create shadowings. Or in your hair, if you had a thinning spot in your hair. Or whatever. They would burn the cork. All makeup artists from France and Europe, they knew how to do this. So we had the cork. The burnt cork was on the makeup table. And Benicio and I are laughing. And Anthony Stark comes in the trailer. And, he looks down at he goes, I can't leave you hanging like that. So Anthony Stark looks down at the table on the makeup trailer and he goes, what's that? And it was, of course, this. And I go, that? I go, oh, damn it, Benicio, hide that. He goes, what is it? I go, that's hashish. He goes, hash? I go, yeah, smell it. So I put it up to his nose. And when he went to smell it, I then went like this to his nose. And he got a black shadow on his nose like that. And me and Benicio and the trailer laughed. But Anthony didn't laugh. I thought he would laugh. He actually broke out in hives. He got very upset. He then went to Barbara Broccoli. And that night at dinner, again, Barbara, John Glenn comes down for dinner. I see him coming out of the elevator. He goes, Robert, with a smile on his face, I go, what you do to poor Anthony Stark? What What'd you do to poor Anthony Stark? He broke out in hives. He's all upset. What happened? Barbara's quite upset. What'd you do to him, Abbott? What do you mean, what did I do to him? I did nothing to him. All I did was I did a little bit of the this and about, bada boom, bada bada bada, and I told John the story, and he laughed. Now, I don't know if they were now pranking me or Barbara was really upset. Who knows? I felt really strong that they were upset at that prank. And then I was a bad boy, you know. I was in a... we went on tour for 5 months to do... or several months to do all the promotion. And I called from Australia. I called my driver that was in Italy taking us around because the film had opened in Italy. Now, don't forget, this is my first time, blah, 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 blah. And I just wanted to see how the film did in Italy. And I got heat for that, and there was a little I broke something in a hotel in Australia. Anyway, partly it was overblown, partly I was at fault. But overall, I had a great time, and I loved Cubby and Dana so much. She gave me a book she had written they had wanted me to do. And, you know, it's sad. I hate thinking of the passing of people. But Cubby Broccoli and Dana, they were a unique couple. And their legacy lives on in the greatest franchise in the history of cinema. And I'm proud of all of you for supporting the Bond films. 25 years is a long time. God bless you. Here's to the next 25. Take care.